Hello everyone. So today's news is that there is sudden there's one of the sad news that in the Lucknow the 15 students have basically died in the building fire, right? So that is one. And Keir Starmer has basically resigned from the British as the British Prime Minister. Now CBS students though who has reported that there are certain kind of look that mistakes in the copy in their copy and in their marks are basically, so they have complained for the re-evaluation, and many of the students have got their mark increased basically, and there are a certain number of issues basically highlighted by the students through that one when the on-screen marking system was basically open for the students to complain. So basically they have found that there was blood insert sheets and missing pages, missing gaps, maps or graphs, right? All these things are there. Another thing that direct talks with Iran did a good foundation for final deal. So basically JD Vance, US Vice President, uh, he basically declared Monday that a very good deal has been this has occurred between the Iran and USA, and basically that Tehran has agreed for inspector, basically that Iran has agreed that the UN inspectors, basically that IAEA, International Atomic Energy, can basically visit their country and assess their nuclear sites, and in return of that, the US Treasury Department basically later issued one letter that the Iran can trade in terms of oil export to the other countries as well as to the USA. Okay, so that is one thing. Now next is the okay. Yeah, what is that? Kerala proposed basically that Kerala government has proposed to cut the taxes on the low alcohol drinks. So that has draws air from the different communities or social activists, okay, basically, or social or NGOs basically, or religious group. So basically what is happening that Kerala government has lowered the taxes on the low alcohol drinks. So they have raised the concern that it will be basically in a way promoting the Gen Zs for consuming the drugs, that is alcohol. Another thing that though it will be boosting, it is highlighted that it will boost the economy of the country, economy of the state. But thing is that you are promoting the low alcohol drugs or classifying the alcohol in terms of mild or strong. So if the if person get addicted to the mild one, so over the period of time he also get too used to the strong. So that is the concern has been raised. Now उड़ीसा का जो कटक है का नाम कटक कर दिया गया है. डोवाल होस्ट NSA ब्रिक्स नेशंस एमिट वेस्ट नेशन. ओके, important है. UAE है basically in talk with India to purchase the BrahMos missile आकाश तीर एयर डिफेंस यूनिट्स. ओके, तो याद रखना बस. यहाँ पर जाट वन ऋतव बनर्जी इज देयर, ऋतव ब्रता बनर्जी, and he has claimed himself as the party leader of Trinamool Congress, and Trinamool Congress was basically founded by the Mrs. Mamata Banerjee 1998, and in 2011 it came into power by replacing the by defeating the Left Front, which has ruled for the which has been power in the for 34 years. Okay, and okay, next the Tamil Nadu speaker basically was held the governor for his efforts to learn Tamil. Okay, तो basically राजेंद्र विश्वनाथ अर्लेकर जो है he is the governor of Tamil Nadu, and he was speaking certain terms of Tamil, and that's why the Tamil Nadu speaker helps governor for his effort to learn Tamil. Okay. Now next is the that is one के कारण सेतु बर्तम है ना, you can not सेतु बर्तम. Okay, so Tushar Mehta basically he has been appointed as the Solicitor General for 3 years. Okay. Okay. Around 110 students fall ill after lunch at the Indore school. Okay. So there are certain now here this one is important. A Kheer Bhavani temple hai in the Kashmir, and the Kashmiri Pandit, displaced Kashmiri Pandit has returned there, and basically they come every year there and worship. So that was basically welcomed by the all the communities of the Kashmir. Another thing that ASIR transferred Rakhi Gadi's skeleton to Anthropological Society of India for scientific investigation, and it is said that that Rakhi Gadi basically is an area which is spread across the spread around approximately in the 550 hectare in Haryana, and it is basically having recognized as the largest settlement in the Harappan civilization, and it revealed that evidences from this place revealed that it was a continuous habitation. It was in continuous habitation from early Harappan to the mature Harappan period. Okay, and the dead bodies basically the found here, skeletons of women and the men found here has been examined DNA analysis. One conflicting thing is that the DNA analysis of this, that women skeleton uh, did not conform to the claim of historians that this these people were Hindu, that is the Central Asian pastoralist. So that is one of the debatable thing which has been found, and there, as you already know, that yesterday I talked about that there may be use of modern technology to recreate the face of that women and the men. Another thing, they can also be analyzing the osteo, that is osteology, or that is their bones, analyzing their bones, studying their bones and genes basically, DNAs, and find that what causes this their what were the cause of their deaths, because now we know that mature Harappan people were died basically. A number of issues have been raised, right? Number of points have been raised, that some say that they have there was a massive flood and that's why they died. Some say there are famine. Some says that there was disease. So through this study of the skeleton, we can find the real cause. Okay. Now there was challenge of India's digital sovereignty. So basically that the modern technology in the modern world, basically you can see that digital infrastructure has penetrated across different aspect of our life, even the commerce, government, national security, right? So all this basically the digital sovereignty is concerned has been raised because in the recently one report has came that CCTV, India's CCTV was compromised by by the Chinese by the Chinese manufacturer, uh, and that has caused a concern, serious concern, because it was trying to access the defense information from India. Another thing is that one Naira Naira Energies was there, and it also faced a lot of security challenges in terms of access to the mails or cloud storage data and all, right? So that's why this concern has been raised, that how the India's digital sovereignty is facing its challenges. So there are number of things has been raised by the writer. That first thing is that most of our critical businesses, Indian businesses, and the critical government services has been operating based on the software of foreign entities, and so this there is a grave concern that these technologies can be compromised. Why? Because these companies, the companies which are operating the software, are basically are operating from the foreign lands, and so to comply the guidelines of their own government, they can deny the some services during the crisis. So that concern has been raised by this by the writer. Another thing is that the another thing that he highlight the India's unique position. So basically, in context of India's unique position, so basically that we'll see that how the different countries are addressing the addressing the issue of digital sovereignty. So basically, he has highlighted that the Netherlands, Denmark, and several German states are, are exploring the domestic alternatives to critical United States software and cloud services such as Microsoft, Word, Excel, etc. He also highlighted that even the European Union is seeking to reduce the dependence on American technologies through independent European cloud and IT infrastructure. Even India, you can see that recently the India's ministry has shifted from the email to the Zoho, Zoho, right? Zoho basically. So that is one thing that India is trying in that field. So strategy, what is that strategy to a strategy to address this one? So basically that domestic, that we need to build the domestic ecosystem, right? More simply, the efforts to Zoho community, Zoho platform मैंने कर दिया, okay. Another thing that we can also collaborate with the other countries, right? And we need to also promote the private partners in the defense equipments manufacturing, as the USA also doing, right? And he also highlighted that we need to, as per the recent development expenditure, which is just the 0.7% of GDP, unlike the global average 2.07%. He also emphasizes on the digital sovereignty can be secured through the collaboration with the like-minded countries, like BrahMos missile is there, right? India and Russia, right? So that is one thing. Now we are the ban on the FDCs, fixed dose combinations. So fixed dose combinations are comes a kind of drugs basically containing two or more active pharmacological ingredients combined in the fixed ratio in single doses. Pharmacological ingredients. Okay. And why it is concerned? Because now if you are consuming, if you have been certain 1 digit, but you are consuming the drugs for the 2 or 3 digits, so that will a kind of create antimicrobial resistance in your body. So okay, that was thing. This is there. Alan Greenspan, US federal maestro, passed away at 100. Japanese firm Jamco launches Extreme Center of Excellence in Pune. Okay, so that's all. Case number is we already talked about. And Myanmar, that civil war engulfed the Southeast Asian country in 2021 when the military staged a coup, ending the decade-long democratic interlude and deposing the elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi. Basically, that 2021, the military coup, and it had ended the democratically elected government, which was led by the Aung San Suu Kyi. Okay, and you should remember this one dualist technology, which is a kind of goods which are used for both military and non-military purposes. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.